Hey folks, Jimmy here, aka Palette the Dead. Welcome back to the channel and welcome to the latest issue of Warhammer Age of Sigmar Stormbringer magazine. Now, as per usual with all these videos, if you like them, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and of course drop me a comment down below. I love hearing back from you guys, it goes a massive way to helping out the channel too. Now, this week we're on issue 20 of Stormbringer magazine, and we have part 1 of 2 of our Marsh Crawl Sloggoth of the Crawl Boys. A pretty cool mini. Obviously, it looks very unique, very different, and very weird. It is like a weird naked creature with a bathtub full of grots on its back. Unusual, very weird, and yeah, different. Very, very different. But pretty cool at exactly the same time. And if you are going to play it as Oryx, and you think Oryx is the army for you, if you want a really cool Crawl Boys range, get 2 issues. Get 2 lots of this issue and next week's issue. Have 2 of them. Have a couple of these guys, and yeah, more fun on the table for you. So pretty cool stuff there. Moving on though, first off we're greeted by Monsters of Chaos Waste. So you've heard your grannies and grandpas talk about the bad old days. You've seen the scars on the city walls you think keep you safe. Maybe you've even heard the Stormcast Eternals tell their stories from when they lived and died like you or me. Chaos everywhere. Spikes and tentacles and fire and death like you wouldn't believe. Thing is, out there on the frontier, chaos isn't a myth. It's everywhere. It's not just the Reavers you have to worry about, or the demons. It is in the air, it is in the water, it is in the trees. Everything it's touched is nastier, crueler, and hungrier than it was before, and that includes all the monsters. So, monsters of chaos are quite a common theme, really, so there are a lot of chaos infused monsters, whether they are the Mind Stealer Sphinxes. So a Mind Stealer Sphinx is a horrible beyond your imagination. Not only does it have horrible claws and teeth that you need to worry about, that can rip you to shreds, it uses its mind, and it has magic, and it can eat your memories and tear your mind asunder, and yeah, do a lot of stuff to you that way. So using a bit of magic is pretty tough, and they are tough at, you know, where from day they're born. Obviously, a Sphinx is very, very close to the Sphinx, for instance, and they're kind of based off of that because the vast majority of monsters are based off of real world historical myth, legend and such like, whether it's from ancient Egypt, Greece, or even Rome. All of them come from somewhere, and this is the Sphinx is very, very similar to the Sphinx. So pretty cool stuff, and being a bit feline. You can get minis for this as well, so it's really cool, and it's a pretty cool mini as well. It's from the Warcry range. However, obviously everything from Warcry can be brought in to your Age of Sigmar games and utilised in that way if you wish them to be as well. So pretty cool. Moving on though, we have chimeras mentioned as well. So chimeras being multiple headed creatures with wings. They have a lion head, they have a wyvern head, and they have a beaked kind of like eagle-y head. So whether they could burn you to death or scorch you to death, they can chomp you in half with its lion-like mouth, or it can even just peck you to death with its armor-piercing beak. And not only that, it can fly, because when it can do all that, of course, it's going to be able to fly and just do that on the move and, be horrible that way. And then you have Cygors. So Cygors, if you're unaware, Cyclopean ogres, essentially. So they are taller, stronger, and nastier than any kind of ogre. And the thing is, they don't eat meat, they eat magic. So using any kind of spells or anything like that, obviously, is always going to be dangerous, especially mid-battle. Against a Cygor, it's pretty daft. So a Cygor's eye is attuned to magic. It can see magic. It can see magically infused items and people. And generally what it will do is rip off some stonework and just chuck it at its target and splatter it that way, instead of basically going hand to hand. Although they can go hand to hand because they are big, they are strong, and things that are big and strong have a mixture, being able to do a couple of things generally, in a kind of a general rule. But you know, pretty cool. So really, really good stuff, and interesting to read about these chaos infused creatures, which is always cool. Then we move on. We have Story of Spearhead Part 3. Now, I'm not going to lie, I don't remember Part 2 or even Part 1 really. I may have completely blocked it out in my memory and not really read it because I haven't read the stories yet. And I'm still going through some of the fiction from Imperium magazine. So I may have completely missed this, but I can't remember it. So maybe that's just me. Bit of a weird situation, but oh well, never mind. Carrying on with that story, pretty cool stuff. Then we move on though, we have more information about the Forces of Order. We have the Fire Slayers. So, the Fire Slayers are a warrior priesthood of Dwarden who are masters at creating magical runes. Each carries a fraction of the divine power of Grimnir, the fallen god of war and fire. They are famed in the mortal realms as relentless warriors who fight to the very last to fulfill their oaths to Sigmar and his people. So, of all the different Dwarden, Fire Slayers are a unique blend on their own. They are fierce, warlike, and they possess the ancestral resilience and stubbornness of their kin, and the elemental power of flame. Since their holy order was created, the Fire Slayers have been able to forge with gold, a mysterious mineral infused with the power of the Dwarden war god Grimnir, into magical runes. These magical runes can be hammered into parts of their flesh, which gives them incredible strength, allows them to take loads of damage, and you know, sometimes they even turn it into, you know, can have like iron-like skin, for instance, and much, much more. Fire Slayers are pretty cool. They're definitely worth having a nosy at if you like that type of thing. They also have some really, really good fiction. So if you like your Warhammer fiction, if you want to know more about Slayers in particular, the best one to learn about is Gotrek Gurnason, an absolute hero from the age of like Warhammer Fantasy battles. So Gotrek was a wandering slayer who took the Slayer Oath in the old world, where he was basically shaved his head, he had no claim to anything, and was tasked with seeking an honourable doom. That doom never comes, and he ends up in the mortal realms after travelling through the realm of chaos itself, at the behest of Grimnir. And in the mortal realms, there's a few novels for him. So there is Gitslayer, Realmslayer, and the newest one, which I've actually started, and I've completely forgotten what it's called. But they're all really good stories and definitely worth having a read of. Or if you got Audible, download them because they're cool. And some of the voice acting is absolutely brilliant. So definitely worth a nosy at them. So really, really good stuff. Anyway, back into the subject of the magazine. Obviously, Fire Slayers have their own unique kind of abilities and style as well. So obviously, they do use oaths. So once made, a Fire Slayer will never break an oath. They expect the same of their patrons. Any who seek to deny them their payment of Urgold are met with the Fire Slayer's vengeance. They use runes. Runes are made from Urgold and embedded into the skin. They glow with arcane heat and offer incredible abilities while the divine power lasts within them. They use Magmadroths as kind of steeds. So Magmadroths are big, huge beasts raised for war by the Fire Slayers. They are intelligent creatures whose fiery breath can turn armour plates into glittering puddles of molten steel, and they generally live in magma holds. So magma holds are subterranean fortresses in which the Fire Slayers make their homes. Magma holds are built within active volcanoes, and they can be found all across the mortal realms. Each is nigh on impregnable, protected by natural and magical defences. Labyrinths of stone passages can be sealed and filled with burning lava at any point, incinerating any would-be invaders alive. So, a little bit of information about the Fire Slayers, which is really, really good and pretty damn cool, because they are a cool faction within the Mortal Realms. They're pretty decent, they're pretty good, and definitely always worth having a bit of a nosy at, because they're just a bit of fun, really, aren't they? You know, mad, crazy berserkers with bright massive crests and beards and such like, and running around practically butt naked, because that's a weird thing that fire slayers like to do. Don't know why. Then we get information for our Marsh Crawler Sloggoth and the unit traits page and stuff like that, so we can obviously Marsh Crawler Sloggoth being a hideous swamp living predator, which is utilised by the cruel boys Grots as beasts of war. As the Sloggoth gores, bites and grasps its way through enemies, the team of Grots on its back can use nets and catch poles to snare the unfortunate, all coordinated by the crew drummer's ceaseless beat. So the Gits who operate on the back of the Marsh Crawler Sloggoth are the Git Snatchers, and they like to kidnap their targets for whatever they want, whether it's using for prey, whether they're using them as slaves, who knows. But either way, the fate is going to be horrible for them when they're caught. And then obviously you get to use the unit tactics if you want to, and give it its unit name, and a little bit extra as well. So pretty cool stuff. We have our build guide for our Marsh Crawler Sloggoth already. Obviously we can't get going with it because we need part 2, which will be next week, but otherwise a really cool one. Do not put your grots onto the main mini before you've painted them. That is my only tip for this. Build it kind of in a section and you'll be fine. You can build the rest of it all together at once if you wanted to, but what I say, do not put your Gits in there in one go, because it'll be hard to paint all the detail on them, especially things like feet and stuff like that, because you would be able to see feet no matter what. So pretty cool stuff though, but it's a really cool mini, and decent. I'm looking forward to actually getting going with it. So just gotta wait until next week to get the rest of the parts, but really cool stuff. And when it's all done, it will look something like that, or if you've got the nets, it'll have nets. Entirely up to you, but it's a really cool mini no matter what. Then we have our basic rules, all to do with using mounts and their damage tables and such like. So you can have mounts, and the mount can do damage to your enemies as you fight. You get a bit of core rules for them as well, and then we move on to our playthrough. So our playthrough utilising Guard of Steel Soul, Knight Arcanum for Praetors, 3 Vindictors, going up against Manok the Cunning, Swampcaller Shaman for the Cunning Crew, 10 Gut Rippers, and our Beast Skewer Killbow. And a good battle to be had as well. So really good stuff there. Then obviously we get to have another look at what's coming up in the next 20 issues, whether you're looking forward to having Gryph-hounds, Sylvaneth, good old Gloomspite Gits are going to be really good fun. So Squigs, we'll have some Grots, we'll have some more good old Hobgrots. Some really good stuff to look forward to, and I'm looking forward to it as well. And we also get some scenery as well, so pretty cool. Then next week, obviously, issue 22, part 2 of our Marsh Crawler Sloggoth, so we can finally get it built and start painting it. And then issue 22 is a paint issue. Now, paint issues with this magazine will include contrast paint, as we can see here. So first off, we're going to get Avalanche Sunset. Really nice paint to have. Very useful for some situations. So if you haven't painted your Cruel Boy shields, you could use yellow if you wanted to. You could use the Avalanche Sunset and you'll get a really nice look out of them. If you're not going to be using it, it's one of them colours. It will come in handy at some point, I'm sure. However, Gryph Charger Grey is pretty damn cool. It is a contrast paint. It can be used over pretty much everything. It is a bluey grey colour. I use it on bases sometimes. So utilising it over greys make things look like bluish kind of stone and make them look a little different. And it works a treat, in my opinion. And it's a good one. So not bad. Not a bad paint issue, really. Could be better though, as per usual. Anyway, that's it from me. Thank you very much for watching this video. I have rambled slightly in parts of it, so I will apologise for that. There is more content coming to the channel at some point in the near future as well. It's just all about producing it and getting it all sorted now. But hopefully some good stuff to look forward to, and I hope you guys will like it. But otherwise, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye bye now.